The moment we've all been waiting for. Yes! Hey, good looking. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, I'm Kendra Morgan Official, and I put out content weekly centered around single eyeshadows, makeup brushes that aren't Morphe, and sunscreen. So if you like that kind of content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And let's get started. Today, I will be actually featuring not just single eyeshadows, but the actual Sydney Grace by Temptalia eyeshadow palette collection I have here for you guys. And I will be going over swatches, in-depth swatches, and then I thought I would go ahead and pull my Sydney Grace collection and see what I have in here that can be used for comparisons. I do want to reference, and I'll put that down in the description box below, Temptalia's blog, where she goes over many of the shades that are very similar to the shadows that she formulated with Sydney Grace. And so you can better see what the shadows look like against one another. She does that really in depth. Temptalia is a blogger. She's been blogging for the last 15 years. I use her database Ooh, I'm sitting on a box and it just broke. I use Temptalia religiously on the daily to find dupes and things of that nature, because if you guys don't already know, I do a lot of duping the vibes, or inspirational palettes based off of palettes that are already currently out in the market or coming out. And so she is a great resource. I thought I would support Sydney Grace and Temptalia on this lovely collaboration that they did. So congratulations, Sydney Grace and Temptalia. You guys did a wonderful job. And let's get started with some swatches. I'm going to be starting with the Quintessence palette and just kind of going down from there. So that's what it looks like in all of its glory. This palette is jewel tone. It's beautiful. It contains 4 mattes. I think there's 1 duochrome, and then there are 7 shimmers, but one of them might be a duochrome. No, I think 2 of them are a duochrome. So that's Umbra, and I do have Midnight, so we'll go ahead and take a look at those 2. The next shade is Orion Nebula in the palette, and it is a beautiful jewel toned maroon berry shade. Then I'm swatching Aurora next. I think this is also a duochrome. Yep, if you look on there, you can see a beautiful reflect on there, and these swatch like butter. Borealis is gonna be that 4th shadow that I'm swatching, that green, kind of foresty green, but it does have like a kind of a gold reflect, really. Then Galactic Muse, which I kind of thought was a turquoise or aqua shade, but it turns out to be leaning more towards the green. Then Interstellar is a matte turquoise. I have Siren Call, and I'm going to compare those 2. I think they would be very similar, but I'm not 100% sure. Then Celestial Bloom is the next shadow. It's a beautiful like royal purple, and I think there's like a pink undertone shiftiness to it. Then the Milky Way is a soft duochrome. It's that pinky champagne color with the green reflect. I'm going to go ahead and pull back, and hopefully you guys can see a swatch where I show you that shift, that duochrome shift in there. But it is very gorgeous, very creamy, very buttery. And I do have the light. So this is Reaching Zenith, and then I'm also going to swatch Parallax right next to it. These are 2 matte shades from the Light collection, and they don't swatch with great, I don't know how I would put that, but they're a little lackluster, but I can promise you that their performance is wonderful. And then Sirius Starlight is going to be the second to last shadow. That's silver. It's just a really gorgeous silver that is super creamy and super buttery. Very high luster. And then My Constellation, I cannot tell if this is a duochrome, but I kind of gather that it's got like a little bit of an orange rusty brown undertone with a plum shimmer over the top. It kind of trends on like a duochrome vibe. So we're going to go ahead and get into the next palette palette is Radiant Reflection. I'm not really sure what I'm saying here, but the first shadow that I am swatching for you guys is Unstoppable Love. It's a matte, very berry plum tone. And again, doesn't really swatch like super duper great, but builds beautifully. So I don't have any issues with that. Opera Rose is going to be kind of that, again, a more berry tone shadow, but it is a little on the more rusty side. Then I'm going into Temptalia, which is that rich lilac, you know, purple pink. I think that's, oh my goodness, it swatches, it's so creamy and it's so buttery. Then Forget Her Not is going to be a really, really dark, like a blackened base purple, followed by Our Starry Night, which is to me a very, very royal blue. It could be indigo. No, it really does look like a true royal blue is how I would describe that one. Then Gloss Over is just kind of a more subtle, lighter toned blue, and it does have a pink undertone. You can kind of see it once the swatch fades out. So then we're going into the second row, Sumptuous Serendipity. I'm dipping my finger in here, swatching that, and putting that onto my arm, and it is a beautiful kind of a rusty plum shade, if you will. And sorry, I got my little helpers there, they kind of bumped the screen, but moving along, Phosphines is a rich champagne leaning, kind of reminds me of Tiara, to be 100% honest with you. I don't think it's a duochrome. I don't know, it might be meant to be a duochrome, but it's kind of got that plum shift to it. And then I'm swatching Dearest Constant. That's going to be the light palettes version of this creamy buttery matte. It's I would describe it as a nude, a tan nude shade. It's on the warmer side though. Well, actually no, I'd probably put it as neutral. Exquisite Opulence is that gorgeous yellow gold shade. I feel like that's really the star of this palette, what makes it really stand out extremely well. Jealousy's Descent, a beautiful rich emerald green, like just so buttery and so beautiful. Then the last shadow that I swatched for you is Sublime Riviere, and it is a matte forest green, but it does have that aqua tint to it. I really, really enjoy this shadow. I think it's so beautiful. All right, so I've gone through the first two palettes and swatched those in depth for you guys. Let me know in the comments down below how you enjoy these swatches so far, and let's go ahead and get into the last palette, and that's going to be On the Horizon. And that's got a beautiful landmark type of artwork on the front of it, so it's kind of more of the neutral jewel tones, if you will. The first shadow that I swatched there for you, which is a very beautiful glossy high luster silver, is Heart Dog. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Earthbound is going to be the green shadow that I'm now swatching for you. I picked up the wrong palette, so I was wondering why the colors weren't matching up. Desert Spoon is the matte kind of grass green that I'm swatching for you, and I was so surprised and so stunned at how creamy that swatched for me. That really surprised me. I thought if any shade was going to get kind of patchy or anything, it'd be that green shade. Then Magellan's Light is just like a peachy, I don't know how I would describe it. Yeah, peachy champagne maybe. And then the Phoenix Awakens is a burnt rose, almost leaning into a terracotta shimmer. I think those two shimmers right there, Magellan's Light and Phoenix Awakens, are very, very complementary. October Odyssey is a beautiful dusty mauve rose shadow, and I'm building up the swatch here for you guys. I do it for the mattes particularly because I really want to show you guys that color and that pigmentation that it offers. Midnight Courage is a dark midnight navy blue color. I feel like every dress I want to wear should be that color. Then Flying High is the shiny, shimmery, dusty navy blue that kind of complements that matte shadow. Lunar Illumination is, I don't know, I would describe it as a high sheen lavender. Shiny, shiny lavender. For that matte Infinite Echoes, I would describe that as a dark or mid-tone rich, kind of a plummy taupe shade almost. You can see that I have to really kind of build that up just to get it to swatch. And Sakura Glow is a jewel toned berry shade again, but it kind of leans mostly to the purple side. Not too much red in that one. And then lastly, Calming Presence is that really, really dark, rich, I would describe it as an indigo shadow. It leans definitely on the purple side. I don't know if this one has a black base or not, but it's just so gorgeous. No, I don't think it has a black base to it. It's definitely I would describe it as an indigo shadow. So beautiful. If you're enjoying this content so far, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And let's move into some swatches from my collection of Sydney Grace shadows. I want to show you what I have in my collection that might look very similar to some of the shadows that are in the palette. But before we do that, I do want to test out and put to the test whether or not these are removable. So let's see here. Okay, we got stickage. Yay! And there you go, folks. They are removable. They don't have any labels on the back side of them, so you probably would want to label them if you took them out. I am using a 5-pound pull magnet, and it's an extendable antenna magnet. You can find them on Amazon. If I remember, I will link that down in the eye for you guys so you guys could pick this up, but it's a 5-pound pull. I tried it with a 3-pound pull and it doesn't quite compete with the magnet that's already on there. So yay, it works. You can pull them out. Yay. The moment we've all been waiting for. Yes. Okay, so if you guys already, it's like they just want to all come out now and see me. If you guys haven't already guessed, I will be taking and disassembling some of these and using these in my, building my palettes and getting inspiration in duping palettes. So I am really thrilled to see that these are magnetic and they're removable. So that's a really nice touch on Sydney Grace's part. So thank you so much, Sydney Grace. I do want to go ahead and get into my eyeshadow collection. I'm just going to grab a few of the shades. So I do want to grab the Midnight Shadow from the Sydney Grace collection singles, and then I'm going to swatch it against Umbra from the Quintessence palette. I'm going to swatch these two right next to each other. It looks like there's Umbra, and then here's Midnight. So it does look like one is more of a warm black and one is more of a blue black. I don't know. I could be just crazy, but that's kind of what I see. And that was Umbra. And that is Midnight. I wish I would have. There we go. So there are the two blacks for you. Then the next shadow that I see that I have in my collection that kind of looks similar, and if I remember correctly, when Temptalia was going through the similar shadows, was the Milky Way from the Temptalia palette and the greatest gift. So let me go ahead and show you the Milky Way. Oh, why am I having problems tonight? Maybe I shouldn't be filming at 11 o'clock at night. But anyways, these two shadows, I kind of see some similarities. So let's do the Milky Way. So let me swatch the Milky Way. Let me swatch the Greatest Gift. And That's the Milky Way. There's the Greatest Gift. I will say they do seem like they are different in formula. This is a very much a thinner formula, and this is a little bit thicker when swatching. Like if I build these up, so you can even see it on my fingers, kind of. I don't know. Maybe not. But this is, I wouldn't say it's chunky or anything like that, but it's a thicker consistency, and this is more of a thinner consistency, if you will. So this also seems to have more of a lavender base to it, whereas this is more of a pink base. But still very nice, very gorgeous. And also I would say if you had the Greatest Gift, maybe, and you were looking at trying to decide between the palettes that you wanted to purchase, you could probably skip out on this. I know I'm really attracted to duochromes in palettes, but if you already have the Greatest Gift, you might consider picking up one of the other palettes, and you wouldn't need this one in your collection. Let me see what else I have that could possibly dupe some shades here. I picked up this because I don't own a lot of these palettes or a lot of these shades. So Forget Her Not from the Radiant Reflection. I'm gonna see if Pandora looks similar to it. It doesn't really look like it's gonna be very close. Let me see if any of the other shadows are gonna be close. Nope, doesn't look like any of the other ones are going to be very close at all. So let me go ahead and swatch Forget Her Not, and then I'm going to swatch Pandora right here. Oops, I just went on my right hand. That's okay. Oh, there we go. So Forget Her Not and Pandora. This is definitely purple, and this is definitely like an indigo shadow. Man, I am just gonna go ahead and show you guys swatches of Sublime, Riviere, and then Siren Call. So that's Sublime, Riviere, and then that Siren Call. That's the closest I have, and I would definitely say those aren't really very close at all to one another. This is out of the Radiant Reflection. Then I have Dearest Constant, and I chose Honesty. I don't know if that one really nailed it or not. I think it needed to have a little bit more taupe, but there you have it. And this one's from the Radiant Reflection palette, and then this is the Single Honesty. So next up, I have Opera Rose, and then Forever Enough. I'm going to swatch those two side by side. I definitely feel like this has that orange undertone, and this is more of a purple base to it. But on the eyes, I don't know if you'd be able to tell the difference or not. It would be a close one. It would definitely be a close one. All right, and the last and final shade that I had in my collection that was very similar to something in one of the Temptalia palettes was Temptalia, and then I found Always Yours. I keep moving the wrong way. I feel like those are fairly close to one another. I can't tell the difference. Maybe a little bit more luster, maybe a little bit more warmth. I know for a fact I'm not seeing any difference on the camera. Let me see if I can. Yeah, this one might have a little bit more lavender. Temptalia's might have just a little bit more of a lavender, but I can't see too much difference. So Always Yours, pretty close in that regard. Then we have from the Quintessence palette Interstellar, and I have the shade Thrilled. So this is very powdery. I guess this is quite powdery as well. And I know Thrilled shows up in quite a few of my dupe palettes, so that's why I kind of really wanted to try and hit the mark and find as close of something in my collection as I possibly could. There's the Temptalia, and here is it Siren Call or Thrilled? I can't remember. It's Thrilled. So they're very, very close in my opinion. This one seems to be a little bit more richer. Temptalia's does. See how that one kind of faded out a little quicker? It's a little bit softer pressed as well. So, okay. And then I have about, I don't know, I'd say like 5 shades from the On the Horizon. So I found Heart Dog to be kind of similar to the single Tiara. Although I do know Tiara is a duochrome, so I'm not sure. We're running out of room here, folks. And I would not put those in the same realm at all. Tiara's got that champagne kind of taupey undertone, whereas Heart Dog is that more true silver shimmer. There you go, folks. There you go. Then moving along, Magellan's Light. I found Strawberries and Cream to look kind of similar to it. So this feels just a little bit drier, if you will. Definitely more, this one's a little more cooler toned, but kind of similar. I mean, I see the similarity in them. Phoenix Awakens. I couldn't really find anything too close to it, but I thought I might give Desert Sun a whirl when I swatched them next to each other. So here's Phoenix Suns, and then here's Desert Sun, or Phoenix Awakens, and then Desert Sun. I feel like, again, this is a little bit deeper, a little bit darker of an undertone, and this one's a little bit more like an orange undertone. There you go. But there you have it. Lunar Illumination looks kind of similar to Go For It in my Sydney Grace collection, so I'm going to swatch those side by side and see what's up with that. So here's the Temptalia, and here is my single. No. Definitely warm pinky undertone, definitely a silvery, shimmery, like a more of a lilac. This is more of a lavender, I would say. No, maybe this is lilac and that's lavender. You get the point. You get the point. Leave a comment down below telling me which one this shade reminds you of. Is it lavender or is it lilac? I have for one of the mattes, actually not very many of the mattes do I have dupes for or anything similar to them. I chose Infinite Echoes. I chose the shade Officer. And if you're all wondering what happened here, I had an allergic reaction to a sunscreen. I put my own face sunscreen on separate from my body sunscreen, and it happened to have fragrance in it. And that's what happens to my skin when I use fragrance. So there's Temptalia's, and then there is Officer. Definitely blue-gray based, and this is definitely more of a taupe, a true taupe. So there you have it. That's kind of what I found. I have found that the mattes were definitely really hard to find shades that looked even remotely close to anything in the Temptalia Sydney Grace collaboration palettes. So let me know in the comments down below if you're planning on picking up 1 or 3, or if you just like watching the palettes being used. In the comments down below, just let me know. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching. Oh, before we go, I do want to tell you that I used the Quintessence palette on my eyes today, and quickly I went over with the Milky Way all over the lid. That's the duochrome. I really wanted to test that out and see what it looked like. Then using Galactic Muse, I put that on the outer third, deepened up the look with Interstellar. It went on so pigmented, so beautifully that it just like, I blew that out and really like took it up all the way to the brow. I had so much pigmentation off of that to deepen it up with. Then I just kind of buffed around the edges with Parallax to kind of try to tone it down just a little bit, and mixing Reaching Zenith with Parallax, I just smoked out the lower lash line just to kind of bring together the look. So if you guys are enjoying this content, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and thanks so much for watching. I am planning on doing some looks with this palette. My first impressions of the palette, I guess we should go over what I think about the palette. I mean, like, that's cool, right? I have to say I am very, very thrilled to see this style of packaging and this style of palette all together. So first off, we have beautiful, beautiful artwork packaging, beautiful jewel tones that are going to make a great addition to my collection. You guys are seeing right here, I don't own a lot of these. I'm attracted to them, I just don't wear a lot of them, and I know that about myself, so I generally try to stay away from purchasing those types of shadows. But the chance and the opportunity to purchase 36 shadows for $85 is really quite nice, and plus they are Sydney Grace and they are removable, so I'll be able to use them in future palettes, you know. So if a lot of people are planning to pick up this palette, then you guys will be able to ride along right with me on some of my dupes. Hopefully that's the idea anyways. So I just love a simple traditional yearbook style classic cardboard, and then of course you have the ability to remove the shadows with ease. If you just grab one of these magnets, you can remove your shadows, no problems right there. I don't know if you guys saw what I did, but I just put that shadow in there like that. I know there is so much more. Oops. Yeah, they just come right out. Once you start, they don't stop. I know you guys are super interested in what else I have, but I do want to get this video up and out there for you all. So I will be doing a more thorough review with the palettes, and I'll also give you guys a tutorial. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Can't wait to see you in the next video.